Daily Cup of Krav, Craig Gray. Today I wanted to talk about framing the threat. So a lot of times in dynamic situations, if there is a threat that's involved, I want to get my hands in a position to where they're going to be useful. For instance, if Todd grabs my shirt, my lapel here, I'm going to frame, depending on what I'm going to do, if I'm going to pin his hand to my body, I want to frame above it. My other hand, if I'm going to do, let's say, a chin jab, I'm going to frame this hand underneath his chin. So it's not in any arbitrary place. My hands will frame very specifically. Also, I'm worried about that back hand possibly coming and hitting me, so my hand is in a place and my arm is in a place where I could defend from that. Another example would be, let's say, a knife. If he holds a knife up to my throat, I'm going to frame, in this case, above it, if I can. Now, if I don't think I can do that without getting cut, then I won't. But if I'm able to, it would be probably a pretty normal response if he's asking for money or wanting to move me. If I do this, it's probably kind of expected for me to cower. So I put my hand up where it's going to be the most amount of good, in that case, up over the weapon. If he points the weapon at my abdomen, this isn't really applicable anymore, or that, or this. I'm going to frame my hands by the area that's going to be most effective. So if I was to hit that weapon and arm out of the way, my hands are already in a spot to where they're going to be useful. Let's say if it's a pistol. Same thing, I'm not going to do that anymore because that's not how I would disarm that weapon. I may get my hand close in this manner. So if I was to disarm that, I get my hands close to the weapon and the area of his arm that he's going to engage, or that I would engage with it. If he points the weapon to my head, now being that I'm going to come up, I'm going to frame underneath it. If it's the side of my head, I could just turn, right? If it's back behind my arm, I'm going to frame my arm so I could clear that weapon. If he's back behind my head, I'm not going to do this and dance all the way around to get to the weapon. This is a conversation yet, so I'm probably going to cower and get my arm up by where it needs to be and talk to him. He's going to move me, I'm sure, but this gives me the option now to move around that weapon and get offline quickly. So when I frame, it's not just my hands, it's any area of my body that is going to engage with the threat and do so in a more useful way. So there you go. Kind of a long one today, but it's pretty important to get this concept.